Hey, Amy, it's Krista. I'm so glad that you had a chance to turn in your TED Talk speech outline, and I am excited to have an opportunity to give you some personalized feedback on your intro, your body, and your conclusion. Now, I have to say, I think this presentation is going to be really interesting, but I am complete communication nerd and can't wait to have a chance to learn more about how to give better speeches. This is such an important skill, and it seems like the more I learn, the better I get. So thank you for helping me to learn more about public speaking. And I hope your audience feels the same way. Have you thought about who you're going to give your speech to? Who's going to sit in the same room with you as you present? I imagine you have some people in mind. So keep those specific people in mind as you're preparing your speech, because odds are you know them, and you could probably tailor some of your supporting material and some of your examples, maybe some of your jokes or stories specifically to them so that they feel engaged and that they're a valuable part of this communication situation that you're going to be leading. Your introduction is spot on. You have an intention getter, a purpose statement, and you have your three main ideas that are being previewed, which is outstanding. I know you probably felt like this when you were preparing this handout. Preparing a speech is a bit more repetitive than preparing a paper because, again, the audience can't reread it if they don't understand something. So it's really important to be well organized and have that really clear structure as you're giving your speech. And previewing your main ideas helps your audience know what they need to listen to, what they need to focus on throughout your presentation. And then in the body, you have a chance to really elaborate and teach your audience about these essential public speaking skills that you've researched. And then in the conclusion, that summarizing of your main ideas, again, it's repetitive. So you're telling your audience what you're going to say, you say it, and then you remind them what you just said, and it will help them to remember your ideas long after you've given your speech. So that's why we have that super repetitive kind of thing going on. I think, so looking at your intro specifically, I think that your attention getter is just, I think your audience will like it. Like, I know I wish I could just turn on public speaking like a superpower, but instead we do need to put that legwork into it. So I think that will catch your audience attention. The other thing, if you want to, this is interesting as well, that public speaking is one of the top fears of all Americans. So you'll have to decide, but I think maybe starting this way, really personable, kind of getting them involved, and then you share that interesting fact again as one of your main ideas, that'll keep them engaged as you continue with your talk. So great work. Your main ideas are straightforward and clear. I can see that you're starting to use research to elaborate on your main ideas and to showcase how your ideas build on the research and data generated by other communication scholars or other people within the field, which is outstanding. And communicating those sources to your audience is really the best way to showcase your research. So unfortunately, your audience won't have a chance to read this handout. We tend to keep our preparation notes behind the scenes. So the only way you can communicate to your audience all the research and hard work that you've put into the speech is to say those sources out loud when you're talking. And you have kind of a nice start here. With this one, you would be saying, according to an article by Carter, public speaking ranks among the top fears of Americans. So when you're revising these outline or these preparation notes for your TED Talk later this month, I would recommend including a few more details. So instead of saying according to an article, say according to an article by Carter titled blah, 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 published in 2016, 2017, I'm not sure. I'm just going to have to go back to your references and check. Let's see. So according to Carter's article titled Good Public Speaking Skills Are Essential in the Workplace, published in 2014, and then you would share your quote. And that would be how you would want to do it. And you'll want to do that for all 5 of your sources. You want to be sure to mention them. Now you have these very specific details listed, and you're including facts and examples. You're including some quotes. That's great. Again, according to Forbes, you're going to want to be more specific here, include the title, the author, and the date. That way your audience can follow up on that source if they're interested in learning more after you're done giving your talk. And then I noticed there's some things that kind of trail off here. You'll want to smooth out your transitions between your main ideas. And you definitely want to include additional supporting material to help elaborate on these ideas. And some supporting material you can include are personal stories, like how does it feel when you're giving a speech, or how does it feel when you're talking, actually giving your TED Talk, if you want to go really meta. Or you could share jokes if that fits your personality, examples, statistics, case studies, stories of other speakers. Those are all examples of the different variety that you can include to kind of help fully elaborate. I keep saying elaborate, but fully develop or flesh out those main ideas so that your audience has a greater understanding of those key points as a result of listening to your speech. And if you're worried about not having enough material, I recommend practicing your speech before you present, maybe even like a week before you present, and using your cell phone to record your practice speech. And this will be just private, like just for your own personal knowledge. But if you use a video, then you can see how fast you're talking, what you're doing with your hands, if you're making eye contact, then all that's useful feedback to help you to continue to prepare for when you're talking to your audience who's actually going to be right there in the room with you. Also, you could time yourself. And this is important because the speech requirement is to talk for 5 to 7 minutes long. So in your practice speech, if you realize, oh my gosh, I've only prepared enough material to talk for about 2 or 3 minutes, then you'll know you need to start including a little bit more stories, personal examples, case studies, to help you reach that 5 to 7 minute mark. Let's see. So then so for your body, just work on including more details when you're citing your sources. Be sure to cite all 5 of your sources, and think about if you need to bring in more supporting material to help your audience have a deeper understanding of your main ideas, and also to help you reach the assignment goal of 5 to 7 minutes for your speech. Your conclusion, you have all 3 elements: your summary, your reinforcement of the purpose statement, and you have an idea of ending in a way that kind of links back to your attention getter, which is nice to kind of have that bookend. It makes it super neat and tidy for your audience and for you as a speaker. So I think that's a nice idea. If you wanted to up the creativity between now and then, you could see if there's a quote from a superhero, or maybe an animated GIF, or I have no idea, but you're the artist, and this speech is your artwork, and I trust that you will come up with the best way to start and end your speech that really highlights your message and also incorporate some of your personality and your style into your speech. And in addition to preparing your speech, you're also going to need to include presentation aids when you give your talk. So you're going to need 2. And usually speakers use a PowerPoint and a handout, or some sort of slide software like a Prezi and a handout. That's kind of the go-to most speakers use. So if that's something that you're considering, that I think that would work really well. Of course, you have more options than that, depending on the environment that you're going to give your speech and who you're going to be talking to. You'll want to think about what tools will best help you to communicate your message in that particular space. So PowerPoint handout would work, or you could also include a poster or some sort of prop, or you could even include a little video clip if you want. So for this speech, the 5 to 7, if you personally speak for 5 minutes, that gives you about 2 minutes for you to think about including a video clip if that's something that you're interested in using for one of your presentation aids. So maybe like a 45-second video. I don't know. It's your choice. And I look forward to seeing what you decide. I think you're well on your way to preparing a really interesting presentation on on public speaking, which is a really timely topic. And you have some great sources already. You're well on your way with your research. The one thing regarding APA format is you definitely want to list your sources in alphabetical order. So in this situation, Adams here will probably be your first choice, your first source. All right. So great job. Great speech preparation. And I wish you all the best on your upcoming TED Talk. If you have any questions for me about this feedback, or while you're revising this outline to submit with your TED Talk assignment here in a couple weeks, just send me a message through Canvas inbox and we'll be in touch. Thank you.